Hello everyone, my name is Kushagar Singh and we're moving to the first question, which is why is decision making often described as the essence of a manager's job? So decision making is the most important part of a manager's work because managers have to make choices that guides the whole organization. Every day they tell to what goals to set and how to use the resources, and based upon these decisions they define how good a business is and or else the businesses fail. So the managers also take decisions with employees and give them tasks, align them tasks, so that they can improve their performance and achieve their goals. So in simple words, basically decision making is the heart of a manager's job, because every action in management starts with a decision.
Good morning everyone. Today I will be explaining an 8-step illustration of any decision-making process. The first step is to clearly understand what the issue is. The manager must know exactly what is going wrong or what needs improvement. This step is important because a problem cannot be solved if it is not clearly recognized. Step 2 is gather information. In this step, the manager collects all the information related to the problem. This can include facts, data, feedback, and observation. The purpose is to understand the situation fully before making any decision. Step 3. Identify alternative. After understanding the problem, the manager thinks of different possible solutions. This alternative gives the manager option to choose from, instead of relying on only one idea. Step 4 is evaluate the alternative. Here, the manager looks closely at each option. They consider the strength, weakness, risk, and benefit of every possible solution. This helps manager understand which options are realistic and effective. Step 5. Choose the best alternative. Once all options are evaluated, the manager select the one that seems most suitable. The chosen solution should be practical, efficient, and able to solve the problem in the best way. This step requires careful thought and judgment. Step 6. Implement the decision. After choosing the best solution, the manager puts it into action. This includes communicating the decision, organizing what needs to be done, making sure the plan is followed correctly. Proper implementation is important for the decision to work. Step 7. Monitor the result. Once the decision is implemented, the manager observes the result. They watch how things are going and check if the solution is working as expected. This step helps the manager know whether the decision is effective. And lastly, make adjustment if needed. If the results are not good enough, the manager make changes to improve the outcome. This may include adjusting the plan or finding another approach. The goal is to ensure the problem is fully solved. That's it. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Sean again and I'm going to present question 2-3. So for question 2-3, the question asks us whether the bias often plays an important role for a CEO or a first-line manager and what potential daily biases they might encounter. So my answer is yes, because the decision making is personal and it's often influenced by our emotions, perceptions, and past experience. So according to firm in 2017, managers don't make decisions purely based on logic. And as Kahneman and Tversky in 1979 explained, people use heuristic or mental shortcuts to simplify complex problems. While these shortcuts can help us to make quick decisions, and they can also cause biases that lead to mistakes. So let's look at some potential daily biases that manager might face. So firstly, confirmation bias. This happens when the manager only seek for information that matches what they have already believed and ignore all the evidence that disagree. So secondly, availability bias. When they judge based on what happens recently or what they can easily remember rather than looking at all of the data. So thirdly, overconfidence bias. This is when the managers overestimate their own ability and knowledge, ignoring others' opinions and useful data. And lastly, anchoring bias. when managers rely too heavily on their first impressions or initial data, even if new information become available later. So these biases can affect decisions from hiring, team selection, to evaluating the performance, which is why managers must stay self-aware and combine data with critical thinking. And that's all from me. Thank you.
So question 2.4, the question is, what is intuitive decision making? In my opinion, intuitive decision making means making decisions based on feelings, instincts, or past experiences instead of detailed analysis of data. The second question is, in your opinion, when is this method is best used? In my opinion, this method works the best when there is not much time to think deeply, or when a manager has a lot of experience and can trust their instincts, like in emergencies or fast-changing situations. The third is, what are the major drawbacks of this managerial decision-making style? In my opinion, however, the main drawbacks are that it can be biased, emotional, and less accurate if the person doesn't have enough experiences. It might also lead to wrong decision if the situation is new and unclear.
Hi, I'm Lai and will continue to explain the answer for questions 5 for the chapter 2. Herbert S. Simon started work on bounded rationality and satisficing because of his hypothesis that people had a limited ability to grasp the present and anticipate the future. Discuss the problem associated with making decisions using rational model. So for your information, rational model is a model that assumes decision makers act fully logically and objectively, having perfect information about alternatives on time, cognitive ability, and resources to evaluate each choice against the others. And lastly, choose the alternative that maximizes the likelihood of achieving that goal. However, as Herbert S. Simon pointed out through his work on bounded rationality and satisficing, this model is often unrealistic in practice as people have a limited ability to grasp the present and anticipate the future. So this is the problems associated with making decisions using the rational model. Incomplete or imperfect information. The rational model requires complete knowledge of all alternatives and their outcomes. But in real-world management situations, information is often uncertain, incomplete, and ambiguous. Managers must make choice even when data is missing or unclear. Then, cognitive and information processing limits. In real estate, managers have limited mental capacity to evaluate every possible alternative. Simon described this as bounded rationality, which meaning that decision making is constrained by human limits in attention, memory, and understanding. For the third one, time and resource constraints. The rational model assumes unlimited time to gather and analyze information, which is seldom possible in real-world business environments. Under time pressures, managers often rely on quick judgment or good enough solutions, and this is what Simon called satisficing. Last but not least, environmental and organizational pressures. Even when a rational choice is identified, organizational, politics, culture, and power dynamics can interfere with implementation. Managers often have to balance rational analysis with practical realities and human factors. As for example, in this case, a manager in a car company may know that investing in electric vehicles is the rational choice for the future. But environmental pressures such as uncertain market demand and changing government regulations, along the organizational pressures like resistance from executive employees, make it difficult to follow a purely rational decision-making process. So as for conclusion, the rational decision-making models provides a useful framework for structured analysis, but it fails to reflect the real-world limits that managers face. Because individuals cannot fully objective or process unlimited information, Simon's idea of bounded rationality and satisficing offer a more accurate and practical understanding of how decisions are made in organizations.
For the case summary, we are tasked with case 1, which is big brown numbers. we tried our best to summarize the whole case into 10 points. The first point is the UPS, the world's largest package delivery company, delivers over 20 million packages daily across more than 220 countries, focusing on efficiency and timely services. The second point is to maintain these, UPS train the drivers in strict routines such as holding their keys on a pinky fingers to save time and ensure uniform, efficient performance.
Third point for the case study, Big Brown Numbers, is focus on efficiency and in uniformity, which tells that how UPS emphasizes strict rules, procedures, and continuous training so that their employees perform well. The fourth point of the slide is company philosophy, which tells how UPS culture values discipline, efficiency, technological innovation so that they're ahead of their competitors and have a moat. The fifth point of the slide is the Orion system, which is basically the on-road integrated optimization and navigation system, which helps the UPS drivers to get the best delivery route so that they save on fuel and this get the best routes to deliver the goods.
My name is Yash Raj, and I will be continuing with the last 5 points summarizing Case 1, Big Brown Numbers. The Orion algorithm took over 10 years to develop and involved a large investment. Its purpose is to help make complex delivery route decisions more efficiently than humans possibly could. Orion continuously improves itself. It balances the best results and consistency, which helps UPS drivers to make better delivery decisions. This will end up saving a lot of time and money every single day. Drivers can select between the route given by Orion or the old method when they log into their DIAD devices each day. However, if drivers decide to not use the route given by Orion, they have to give an explanation and explain their reasoning as to why they decided on this conclusion. There were difficulties with Orion. Some drivers did not agree with the routes given by Orion as they did not find it efficient. Many drivers prefer to follow the route that they are most comfortable with and have always been using. However, despite these problems, UPS is still dedicated to Orion because it thinks that the combination of technology of the system together with the human experience can bring many benefits.
Good morning to our respective lecturer and friends. I'm Rushni Navnithan with metric number 25078672. Today I'm going to present discussion question case 1. Question 211. Why is efficiency and safety is so important to UPS? Because it directly impacts UPS capacity to deliver millions of packages on schedule and at lower cost possible. Efficiency is extremely so important to the company where UPS relies on consistent, effective procedure to save fuel, time, and also money preserving dependability. This guarantees that every driver adheres to standardized, optimized procedure, which together save millions of miles and money throughout the network, even if efficiency gains are only solid. Now we move into safety. Why safety is so important to UPS? It is because UPS drivers are always on the road, so safety is so crucial for them. Drivers receive specialized training to avoid any risky and dangerous situation. UPS reduces accidents, safeguards their workers, and also guarantees dependable services by implementing all these practices. By lowering interruption such as vehicle damages, accidents, and injuries that might cause delivery delays, safety also promotes efficiency.
My question is, would you categorize a driver's route decisions as structured or unstructured problems, programmed or non-programmed decisions? Explain. In my opinion, I would categorize a UPS driver's route decisions as a structured problem involving programmed decisions. A problem is considered structured if it's simple, well-known, and easily defined. This kind of issue occurs frequently and has well-defined methods for resolving it. According to the notes, UPS has created a very methodical delivery procedure. Every day, drivers must take similar judgments such as selecting the optimum route and making on-time package deliveries. It is possible to plan ahead for these repetitive duties. UPS uses a computer system called Orion, which stands for On-Road Integrated Optimization and Navigation. Orion helps drivers find the most efficient route by looking at data like distance, traffic, and delivery time. Because of this technology, drivers don't have to plan their routes on their own. This system provides them with a planned route to follow. This makes the problem clear because there are specific methods and information available to deal with it. Secondly, a program decision is one that is made repeatedly and follow a set of rules, procedures, or policies. According to the notes, program decisions are used for clear problems. They are routine, automatic, and follow standard guidelines. UPS drivers follow many company procedures designed to improve efficiency. For example, drivers are trained to avoid left turns because this saves fuel and time. They also adhere to company rules on how to scan packages, park, and handle deliveries. These actions follow written procedures and company policies, so they are clearly programmed decisions. Moreover, UPS focuses on consistency, efficiency, and achieved through set protocols and the Orient system. This means most decisions a driver faces during a typical workday follow standard procedures. However, there are times when drivers encounter unexpected challenges like road blockages, vehicle malfunctions, or severe bad weather. In these rare cases, the situation becomes unpredictable and lack clear solutions. The driver then has to make a non-programmed decisions using their own judgment and experience to solve the problem. In conclusion, the routing decisions made by a UPS driver mainly involve structured issues handled through programmed decisions. This is because these decisions are routine and repetitive, backed by clear guidelines and technology like Orient. Only in rare and unforeseen situations do these decisions become unstructured, requiring non-programmed responses. UPS's approach to structured and programmed decision-making supports efficiency, consistency, and reliability in its daily operations.
Next, I'll be answering the question, how would Orion technology help drivers make better decisions? Orion helps UPS drivers make better decisions by guiding them through each step of the decision-making process in a faster and more accurate way. As we have previously learned, there are 8 steps in the decision-making process. Firstly, identifying the problem. Drivers need to figure out how to deliver more than 100 packages a day in the most efficient way. Step 2, identifying the criteria. The criteria to be considered are timing, fuel consumption, as well as driver safety. Next, weighing the criteria. Orion considers efficiency and safety by focusing on routes that save fuel and time while keeping drivers safe. The fourth step, developing alternatives. The system creates different route options, one based on Orion's algorithm and one using the old method. And as I previously mentioned, if drivers use the old method, they need to explain why they came to that decision. The fifth step, analyze alternatives. Orion evaluates millions of possible route combinations, considering traffic and many other factors. There are too many possible routes, making it impossible for humans to do this alone. This is why the system is very crucial. Next, selecting alternatives. The driver can choose to follow the Orion route or the old route. If the driver doesn't choose Orion, they must explain why. Next, implementing alternatives. This is step 7 in the decision-making process. Drivers will follow their selected route with their DIAD device. And lastly, one of the most important steps in the decision-making process is evaluating the effectiveness. This is important so that the system will not make the same mistakes again and can continuously improve on their system. UPS will evaluate all the routes and take in driver feedback to evaluate efficiency and improve the system over time.
Moving on to the last question of the case study, which is how is UPS being a sustainable corporation? So first, using the Orion system. UPS uses the Orion system, which helps the driver to choose the best delivery routes. By this, the drivers save a lot of fuel, the drivers reduce extra driving, and they save millions of miles every year. The second point is saving fuel and reducing pollution. By cutting down unnecessary travel, UPS saves a lot of fuel, which is a big expense for a company which delivers goods. And it also helps lower the pollution and help the environment. Third is focus on efficiency. How UPS always try to be more efficient and uniform in its operations. This means fewer wasted trips and better use of resources so that they're ahead and they deliver their goods timely. The fourth is training drivers for better habits. UPS specifically train their drivers to not waste time or fuel so that they deliver the goods timely and they are done with their work, and this also helps them to reduce the emissions and accidents. Fifth is commitment to improvement. Even though Orion was challenging at first, because to analyze all the delivery routes is hard for any company to move on to a technological innovation such fast, but UPS stayed committed to this route so that they can use less energy, they can deliver faster, and they can work in a more environment friendly way.
Now we are moving on to the case application 2, which is Manchester City Football Big Data Champions. The first point in this case study highlight Manchester City unique pre-match ritual. Unlike other football club that use last-minute motivational speeches, Manchester City players spend their final 50 minutes before a match with the performance analyst team. During this time, they review their previous performance, discuss what worked well, what mistakes were made, and what they need to focus on for the upcoming game. This preparation is fully based on data, ensuring players begin each match with clear, objective insight. The second key point, focus on the analyst team led by Gavin Flake. After every match, the analysts provide each player with a detailed and personalized report of their movement, action, and decision during the match. This feedback allows players to understand their strengths and areas that need improvement. The objective is simple: use accurate and informative data to help players make smarter decisions on the pitch. Next, data analysis plays a major role in improving player performance. Manchester City use big data to help players reflect on their technique, movement, and tactical choices. Instead of relying on guesswork or subjective opinion, players can see real, measurable information about their behavior on the field. This allows them to become more aware of their action and improve accordingly. The fourth summary talks about how data help solve a major performance issue. During the 2010-2011 season, Manchester City struggled with scoring from set pieces. They only scored 1 goal from 21 matches. To fix this, analysts studied more than 500 corner kicks to identify what went wrong. The use of big data helped uncover why the team was struggling so that appropriate solution could be created. Continuing from the previous point, the analysts used video evidence of top performing teams to teach players Manchester City new corner kick tactics. By analyzing what successful team did differently, Manchester City redesigned their strategy. The results were outstanding. The team scored 9 goals from corners in just the first 15 matches of the following season. This demonstrates how effective big data can be in boosting team performance.
Point 6 is big data as a strategic management tool, and point 7 is a defensive statistics tool analyst, and point 8 is Manchester City's global hacking. Point 9 is winning algorithms and machine learning cooperation, and then the point 10 is the future of big data in football. And then it's the question 2.15. What types of decisions are made by football managers? Would you characterize these decisions as structured or unstructured problems? Explain. Types change of teammate, and then 2 is tactical command, and then it's the command for the opponent, and then the 4 is physical health monitoring and rehabilitation, and 5 is the talent investment, and then the 6 is different situations handling. My opinion is it is an unstructured problem because for different goals, the team managers need to use subjective consciousness to judge incomplete information, such as 60 points behind one goals in the second half, and whether to strengthen attack or keep the draw and then counter-attack. And in tactical comment, handling different situations, talent investment are still unstructured problems.
So I will continue to explain the question 16 answers. Describe how football managers can use big data to make better decisions, referring to rationality, bounded rationality, intuition, and evidence-based management. In big data decision making, managers aim to be rational and evidence-based. The rational model assumes that decisions are made logically, with complete information and a clear understanding of alternatives to achieve the best possible outcome. In Manchester City's case, managers and analysts use big data including player statistics, movement tracking, and match analysis to make well-informed, fact-based choices. However, because managers have limited time and information, they often make decisions within the bounds of bounded rationality, meaning they select solutions that are satisfactory rather than perfectly optimal. At the same time, intuition still plays a role, especially in fast-paced match situations, which experience and instinct guide quick judgment. Football managers use statistic evidence, performance reports, and algorithmic predictions to justify and elevate their choices. In the case of Manchester City, managers and analysts use performance data to identify weakness, test new strategies, and continuously improve outcome, turning data into a reliable foundation for decision making. So, as for the conclusion, by combining rational analysis, bounded rationality, and intuition through evidence-based management, decision makers use factual data and proven information to support decisions, reducing bias and improving performance outcome. So, question 17. What types of conditions are more likely to influence the performance analyst team's work? Certainty, uncertainty, or risk? The performance analyst team at Manchester City operates under a condition of risk. A risk condition exists when managers do not know the exact outcome of a decision, but they can assign probabilities to each possible result based on data or experience. In this case, the analysts use big data such as player performance metrics, passing accuracy, and game statistics to estimate the likelihood of certain outcomes. For example, data can show the probability of a goal resulting from a specific type of play or formation. Although the exact result cannot be guaranteed, the team can calculate and manage the level of risk involved in each tactical decision. Therefore, the decisions are made in a risk conditions where outcomes are based on analyzed evidence and calculate probabilities rather than full certainty.
Okay, let's move on to question 218. So the question asks us about, is it appropriate for football managers to rely only on quantitative information? So for me, I think it's not appropriate. So the quantitative data like goals scored, passes completed, or tackles made shows the measurable outcomes, but it cannot capture human factors such as attitude, teamwork, leadership, and also the communications. So these qualities are crucial for overall team performance, but are neglected if we focus only on numbers. According to bounded rationality theory, the managers make decisions with limited information, time, and cognitive ability. If they rely solely on the quantitative data, they might missing the emotional, psychological, and situational factors that affect real-world performance. So for me, the best approach is to combine the quantitative metrics and qualitative evaluation. This means using data to track measurable performance while also observing the players' behavior, teamwork, and adaptability on and off the field. By doing so, manager can make fairer, more accurate, and human-centered decisions, ensuring both statistical performance and personal qualities are considered. So let's move on to another question. For question 219, the question asks us about how big data transform football decisions in future. So for me, data can make football decisions making faster and more accurate. For example, in match analysis, patterns in passes, players' positioning, and tactics can be studied to identify the areas for improvement. So in addition, predictive analytics can estimate potential injuries, fatigue, and even anticipate opponents' strategies. Moreover, in player selection, data-driven recruitment help to reduce the irrational decisions by providing objective insights into the performance and potential. After matches, personalized feedback can guide players for self-growth, setting clear goals based on the performance reports. Furthermore, big data supports strategic planning, help managers to create more accurate and reasonable plans for the budgets, squad development, and team management. Importantly, the best decisions come from combining analytics with managerial intuition, using data to guide choice while still considering the human judgment and context. Therefore, managers can make decisions that are balanced, effective, and evidence-based. So that's all from me and our group. Thank you for listening, and that's all from us. Thank you.